Hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. We talk all things life, love, spirituality, law of attraction, and all of that juicy goodness. In this video, I want to talk about frustrations on your journey, frustrations about your manifestation, frustrations about people in your life, about strangers doing things that drive you nuts, and how do we manage it, right? How do we keep our energy pristine? How do we stay in a peaceful state during chaos? And this is one thing that I really pride myself in is if you were to spend, 72 hours with me, there's not a lot that I get mad at. And it's taken me about 8 years to get to that point. And I'm talking 8 years of laying on a massage table, getting treatment after treatment after treatment on my nervous system. And some people don't need that much work. Maybe you grew up differently than me, and maybe it's really easy for you to forgive and to not be reactive. But I had gone through so much abuse and trauma and manipulation and no love, like so much neglect. But yet everything on the outside seemed perfect. And then when my daughter passed away, that just sent me down an even deeper, darker hole into I'm angry at life. And which then, when you walk through life with that frequency, everything is really going to piss you off, right? Even if you try to be happy and try to have like that positivity and, I'm going to think good today, I'm going to think good thoughts. But if you have a frequency of I'm angry at life for handing me this deal, and that's all your mind. Right now we're spiritually awakened, and that's not who we are. We realize that's our ego that was telling us that story, and that everything's perfect and everything's meant to be. Even if it's the loss of your child, it's meant to be for some reason. There's a divine order in place. But anyway, I wanted to read this little excerpt from Tosha Silver's book, Outrageous Openness, and then we'll talk about it. So it says 7:50 a.m. Core Power Yoga Lot, Berkeley. I'm in my Prius finishing up a phone call before class. Suddenly, a large black SUV whisks into the space next to me, so achingly close I can no longer open my door. I roll down my window, giggling. You're kidding, right? I say to the girl, pointing at the almost empty lot. I mean, really? Why here? Why me? Did you just want to get to know me better? She looks at me blankly, shrugs her shoulders, gets out of the car, and strolls upstairs. 7:52 a.m. Wow. Wedged behind the wheel, momentarily fuming. 7:53 a.m. Wondering, do I want to be mad and waste the morning with this? Does my body need the assault of even momentary resentment while on the way to yoga of all places? Or do I want to feel compassion plus a dose of good-humored astonishment by just rolling with it all? 7:54 a.m. This is all 4 minutes after the lady parked next to her. I spend a full minute contemplating how to twist myself like a true yogini over the gear shift to slither out the other door. But then I have a life-changing realization. I can move the car. 7:55 a.m. I move. So that's an excerpt from her book. And I love her book because it's always talking about story. It's just story after story after story of how the universe works in her favor, how she dances with life and tries to not let these moments get the best of her. And that's exactly something that I would do too. I'd be like, really, lady, why did you have to park so close to me? But then I would move my car. And I learned early on, and that's what my daughter taught me. After my daughter passed away, I made every decision to set myself up to feel good, to make my body feel good, because I didn't want to go back into the depression and the sadness, right? So I would, if I was feeling icky, I would remove myself from the situation. I would prevent it from happening deeper or further or from stewing. So her having that realization, just move the car, right? Like these characters are going to come along in our movie to poke us, to trigger us. And I believe it's all an activation for us to have a choice in the moment. It's like source and the universe and the divine is bringing us the opportunity on a platter, and it's saying, let's test her. How is she going to respond to this? And then you get the test and you're like, okay, I see you, universe. I see you testing me. My ego wants to be really angry and really mad, and it wants to yell at the person. But what am I going to do with this? because what we wish on others, we wish for ourselves, number one. So we don't want to wish harm on somebody else, because then we're wishing that for ourselves. And we also don't want to stay in the situation longer or go into the yoga class worrying about if our car is going to get hit when that lady comes out and opens her door and hits our car, right? So, what can I do right now in the moment to relieve myself of this situation? And her realization was to move the car. So, where in your life are you focused and obsessing about something, or maybe you're trying to manifest something and you keep having breakdown in your life? The breakdown might be testing you. How often are you allowing the breakdown to be there and say, okay, I surrender, universe. You can let this happen. You can pull this away from me. You can strip money away from me. You can allow me to get sick for a little bit. I'm not going to freak out. I'm going to sit back and say, this is for my highest good in some way, but let me take action to alleviate it, right? We're not just going to sit in the discomfort. Like, don't stay in the car and be so angry. Move it. Okay. These are the moments where we have to wake up and choose differently. We have to stop staying in suffering. And as I just said that, I was thinking about my drive home the other night, and I just was thinking, should I share this or not? I'm going to share it though, because a lot of times I can gauge where my clients, my friends, my family, where they're at on their self-growth journey by what they're willing to tolerate. So, like, say you go somewhere, right? And maybe it's just not high quality, maybe it smells moldy, or maybe I don't know, maybe you get something in your food that's kind of gross, and the person you're with is just like, oh, that's okay, I'll just go with it. Like, that shows me that that person doesn't value themselves enough to want the best for themselves. They're willing to stay in a moldy, icky, smelling environment because they just don't think that they can leave it. And I want to empower all of you and all of my clients, especially my clients in my coaching program, to wake up to the idea that you can move out of any situation. Okay. And I know that's not every situation, because sometimes we have lessons to learn and we have things to do, but think about those small situations where, say you go to a store and there's just bad energy, but you really wanted to get the item. Like, no, say, I'm not going to stay here in this icky energy. So a lot of times as humans, we grew up from 0 to 7 in some sort of chaos. So now we keep attracting more and more chaos. And people do it. Like, they get one pet, and then they get 3 pets and 4 pets, and they think they're just really in love with animals. But at the same time, when they're going to bed every night, they're so overstimulated by all the things they have to do for these animals, where one might have just been enough. But they're creating more things to take care of and more chaos, because their programming from 0 to 7 is, well, if I'm successful and if I take on more, then I'll be loved. Right. So people tend to create more chaos because it's just what they're used to, where we can choose differently. Like, for example, my mom's dog passed away a couple months ago, and she quickly wanted to get another dog. And I asked her, I said, well, Mom, I was like, if you look at when you had Ellie, how often were you complaining about Ellie? Like, she was complaining more than she was celebrating the dog. And I said, are you sure you really want to get another dog? You're going to have to wake up in the middle of the night. You're going to have to do all these different things. You're going to go golfing, and you're going to have to worry about who's going to take care of the dog. I was like, really think it through. Like, what do you want? And she's 70 now, and she chose not to get the dog. And I'm so proud of her. And she sleeps through the night now, and now she can just be free. And if you think about it, my mom's life, she got married in early 20s, had 4 kids, literally has never lived alone, is always been stimulated, is always coaching 3 different sports. She did all of those things for us as kids. So now she's 70 and she is in an empty house, nobody to take care of. And it feels foreign to her that she wanted to create more chaos because it felt comfortable. And now she has thoughts like, Michelle, my heart rate is, my blood pressure's down. I feel really good. Do you think something's wrong with me? I'm like, no, Mom. I'm like, you're actually like choosing yourself for once, and you're doing what you want to do. I was like, this is how we're all supposed to live. So that's like this example of being in that car. And do we want to choose suffering, or do we just move the car? So you have a choice right now in your life, whatever is frustrating you, whatever Small moments throughout the day. Ask yourself in that moment, is this a move the car moment? Is this an opportunity where I can choose differently and I cannot sit in this discomfort? You know, if a place drives you nuts, don't go there. If a person keeps jumping into your phone and keeps telling you what to do, maybe don't respond for a couple days and just choose differently. We all have choices. And especially when we are learning to evolve and grow, and everything that I teach in my coaching program, we're refining ourselves. We're coming back home and out of that 0 to 7 programming where we have to people please or we have to abandon ourselves. My mom is finally choosing herself after 70 years. It's beautiful. And I want to help all of you do it, just like I'm helping my mom. Like, she's taking advice from me, her youngest daughter, right? Like, how cool is that, that she's listening to me? And it's our way of living. And we all need to get there. We all need to know that we don't have to suffer. We don't have to keep creating the chaos. We can let go of a few things and do less. We can do less and receive more. You know, and really think about, how often are you just sitting on your couch? Like, I'm sitting back resting here. Like, I'll just sit here after I film this and I'll just rest for 10 minutes. And I'm not saying you have to be like me and do everything I do, but I'm just letting you know a glimpse into a reality of peacefulness and calmness. And even if you have a busy schedule, you can still find 5 minutes to just sit and be like, oh, I'm so grateful for my life. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for a roof over my head. I'm grateful that I can make choices. You know, she could be sitting in that car, Tosha, and she could say, you know what, at least I have a car. At least I'm able to move. At least I'm not trapped living with this person, right? She can, like, not have to be around that woman ever again. So really look at your life and start to choose you, start to be the person that moves the car and doesn't sit in the turmoil and the frustration, and just choose differently. You can remove yourself from anything. I believe we can. I believe that if we offer it up to God and the universe and say, please remove this situation from me, from my reality, please move me to something better. And a lot of times the universe won't bring the next thing until we move the car, right? This moving the car is so symbolic of life and how we have choices. We can choose to stay in the suffering, or we can choose to walk towards bliss and peacefulness and a calm energy and happiness and joy. And yes, there's going to be frustration along the journey, but we get to choose how far that frustration will go, right? I get frustrated all the time with different things. And I'm not saying I'm perfect again, but I can catch my thought and go, oh, I have a choice here. Nope, not doing that. And that's why I said, if you were to live with me for 72 hours, you would see that how quickly I shift myself. And it's thank God to my daughter. Thank God for that experience, because I felt so much pain and suffering that I learned to shift. I was like, I have a choice right now. I can either feel really joyful or I can feel really sad. What do I want to do? So you have a choice. All right, lovies, if you want to work with me in my coaching program, is the doors are closing 1/11, January 11th. We're going to work from 6 weeks from that date on. We're going to be on Zoom every week. I'm going to do one-on-ones with you personally, and then we're going to do group calls together. But if you need help shifting your mindset, feeling good about your life again, not being triggered so much, and maybe you don't need as many healing sessions as I need. Maybe you just need this coaching program to help you see into how you could be living your life and how you can shift your thoughts. I believe we can shift everything by shifting our thoughts. So that's what this program is all about. And if you just need a one-on-one breakthrough session with me or an intuitive reading, you can do that as well. All the links are in the comments below. I will see you over there. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for supporting me, my daughter, and our channel. And I will see you all in the next one. All right, peace out. Move the car.